Can AI replace humans in digital accessibility? Yes, I've been asked about this multiple times, and tonight I wrote a really long blog post. So let's go ahead and go through parts of this blog post. I'm going to scroll down and we're going to go to the AI timeline for digital accessibility. So here's my outlook on how AI unfolds in the digital accessibility marketplace in 2025. What we're already seeing is that humans are using AI tools to make processes more efficient. So when we look at accessibility tracker, there is AI integrated. It's helping teams fix issues faster, less rounds of validation are needed. That is creating efficiency. So we're saving time and money. Nobody's being replaced. We're just completing projects sooner. So a lot of value has been created. In 2026, I will see the rollout of agentic AI, so where AI agents are actually executing on tasks. And if you're not familiar with agentic AI, just think of the difference as we no longer need to prompt AI to do something; it's going to do it on its own. So I think initially with agentic AI, it will be very flawed, and I think it will even cause some doubts. Maybe like people say that AI has been overhyped. This isn't able to execute. There's a lot of mistakes. This is no good. But the promise will be there, and eventually the agentic AI will improve so that it actually is seamlessly executing on tasks. So early on, the demos will look good, the execution won't be as good, but eventually agentic AI will get there and it will help execute specific tasks very, very well. In 2027, I think we will see hybrid automation take hold. And so, with hybrid automation, think where we have AI working to a point, and then at that certain point, there is the human review and/or supplementation of that automation. So it's hybrid automation because it's not completed yet. We can't just take the AI output and use that as a final deliverable or something that's commercial ready. But what we can do is we can supplement and review and possibly correct anything that needs to be corrected. And then we will have the finalized commercial ready, the deliverable that goes to the clients. Then we will have that. So I think in 2027 and 2026, right, this is all there's going to be some blending together. But I think 2027 is where we will really see hybrid automation take hold. And then sometime between 2028 and 2030, we will see full or near automation of generalized accessibility services. So we will be able to have an accessibility audit, mostly automated. The same with user testing and remediation. This will be possible in 2028 or 2030. All right, so let's go ahead and continue down. And I've got this one section to start with. And by the way, let's actually also read this note. The article that I wrote does not concern AI powered widgets. That is not even this conversation. Widgets and overlays are not a part of this. I'm talking about real, actual AI. Also, hybrid automation doesn't refer to combining automated scan results with quote unquote manual testing. That's not what we're referring to here. Hybrid automation will be layered. There will be a combination of some type, but it won't be what is being portrayed in the market currently. But now I want to get to this section titled conceptually. So before we continue, when you think about like right now, it could be that there are counterpoints, right? You could think, well, this is not possible, right? We can create efficiency, but humans are always going to be needed. But let's go through this conceptually section. So just stop and think about AI's capabilities right now. AI can understand prompts and respond. AI can see and analyze images. AI can watch video and interpret. AI can listen to audio and process. And AI can parse code and correct. So, given these bullet points, as of right now, how far of a leap is it that AI will be able to fulfill these accessibility services? So I continue on. How far of a leap do you think it will be that AI can do anything on a computer or phone that humans can already do? So we already do the same things over and over again. If you think about our daily processes, like if we actually recorded ourselves on our computer or our phone, what are we doing? We're doing the same things over and over again. We're going to a Shopify store, we are browsing, we are looking for a product, we are adding that product to a cart, and then we're entering out our information and we're checking out. When we open the YouTube music app on our phone, what are we doing? We are searching for a song and we are pressing play. Maybe we're adding it to a playlist, etc. But my point is that we're doing these things over and over and over again. AI can go through these motions too. So AI is going to be able to learn what we're doing, and it's also going to be able to add in evaluating accessibility as it goes, because AI can mimic what we already do. So given this that exists right now, how far of a stretch is it to think that AI will be able to audit a digital asset? It's not inconceivable at all. So I continue. Can AI learn WCAG? Of course. Can it learn practical accessibility and usability issues? Definitely. Can it learn how to correct those issues? Surely. So my point is just given where we are, if you're reluctant to think about AI replacing some of the services or all of the services really that are in play, it is not it is not far away at all. All right, so let's continue on. So this AI Outlook section that I just passed through that contains what was in the table. And then I have here, why will AI replace humans so fast? Because AI can simulate human interaction and replicate the processes that humans use to evaluate and fix accessibility issues. So AI can pick up on this repetition, and it can figure out over time if it goes over and over and over in something, which it can with increasing speed, and it can and go through larger and larger data sets, it's going to be able to figure out what is an actual accessibility issue, how to identify that issue, how to report on it, and then how to actually fix it. So, for example, AI can keyboard tab through a website and visually scan the site as it's doing so. It can test with a screen reader and determine where an accessibility issue exists. It will be able to check for closed captions and audio descriptions, and then AI agents will be able to correct them. Remember, I talked about agents and how they could execute on tasks. So that could be where they come into play. Is okay. Now that we found this issue, the AI agent goes and corrects this issue. So these are all behaviors that can be programmed for and mimicked by AI. So um, keep this in mind. So the next section I have is, won't people still want real humans to user test? And I write no. User testing is expensive, and if people can reduce their cost from $550 a year on a user testing session to $5 or even free for an AI session, they're not going to pay $550. And that's what's realistic, right? When you look at people, the market is only going to bear what people are willing to pay for. And people are not going to pay for expensive user testing services when AI can provide that at low to no cost. So I write, realistically, once we reach the point where AI can mimic the experience of most users with disabilities, the only use of humans in user testing will be for the sake of involving humans in user testing, because AI is able to extract the accessibility issue. It's able to, in effect, test itself and extract that issue, and then possibly even fix it. And then there's another section where I write, but AI won't have the lived experience of a person with a disability. This is true, but AI can learn from people with disabilities and other accessibility experts on what creates an accessible experience. It's not that there isn't value in the experience, it's that AI will be able to extract and harness that value. So AI will never have the same experience or perspective, but it doesn't need to improve usability and accessibility. And so you could say, well, AI is not going to be as good as humans. In some way, form, or fashion, AI won't be able to do this or it won't be able to do that. Yes, true. Maybe AI is unable to catch a few issues that humans would, or is there something that a human could identify that an AI tool or an AI product won't be able to, but it won't be enough of a difference to matter in the marketplace. If AI can automate to near flawless accessibility, consumers will be fine with that. So digital experiences will be more accessible than ever. Let's say they're 99.9% accessible, and then you'll have the law of diminishing returns. And then there's another section. Well, what about digital accessibility companies? Will they even be needed? And I write maybe, but probably not. So right now and in the near future, there will be AI sold by accessibility companies. You see this with me with accessible.org. I talk about accessibility tracker, how there is AI to help clients fix issues. But it's not, that is for the time being. So there's AI that's specialized for accessibility. It's going to help clients and customers meet compliance requirements and make their digital assets accessible to people with disabilities. But then, but then you have to ask, as an accessibility company, will you be able to, and I write here, throw a fishing net over AI, bag it, and sell it as accessibility AI? And I don't think so. I think AI is like a wild horse, and right now it's tamed, but you can only tame it for so long, where you get to reap the rewards commercially, and then eventually the horse bucks free, and anybody's going to be able to walk up to their favorite AI store and get whatever they want out of it. So I put the over under on accessible.org at 4.5 years, and I took the under because it's just, with AI, it can advance so rapidly, and there will be ways that it advances that we cannot anticipate. Uh, but I don't think it's not. It might be something that's able to be harnessed for now and in the near term, but eventually, it's not going to be something where an accessibility company owns accessibility AI and only they're able to sell it. It will just be available, and I think it will be free, if not free, very very low cost. But um, yeah, accessibility companies could easily be bypassed as well. Like accessibility AI might take out accessibility companies along with it, and that's why not too long ago I looked at. I think I just wrote a blog post on this, but I looked at the projections on the digital accessibility software market, and you have these different marketing, or not, they're not marketing firms, but these different, I don't know if they're like investor research or whatever they are, but they're projecting out the years like 2025, 2026, all the way to 2030. And there's no way you could possibly know in 2020, 30. I will tell you that it's either going to be really high or it's going to be really low for accessibility software. And then for accessibility companies, I think they will be either doing really really well, or they won't even be needed. So it's drastic, but that's just what the impact that AI is going to have. It's going to have a significant impact, and not just only on digital accessibility, but of course over all industries. And we're going to see this play out not only with accessibility, but so many other digital, let's call them sectors, right? Because AI can, with digital services, AI can take those apart. Like it can process them really easily in that scale. And I talk more about this in a moment. So on this next section, I have, well, what to do. Well, we have good and bad, really bad news and great news depending on who you are. So for accessibility auditors and user testers, they're going to need to find new work. For people with disabilities, the digital world is about to open up like it never has been before. Like, right, we will see an accessible digital world. And so if accessible.org, as long as accessible.org exists, then the cost of accessibility and compliance is going to sharply decrease because we have all this efficiency. And so obviously that's going to be passed on to the consumer. But of course, yeah, and then I write here that the digital accessibility marketplace is not alone in this reality. And then As for accessibility professionals, I write, look into spaces where humans value and connect with humans versus where you're providing digital services that are viewed mostly as a swap for money. And then that's actually a typo, but it basically, like, you don't want to be in a scenario where it's just an exchange where AI can easily step in front of you, and then you're out of the picture. But if people are valuing you for you, so if there's something unique to you, then that's more that's going to be advantageous. Like, and there are other ways to still provide value in the age of AI, especially years from now, even years from now. There's still ways to provide value and make money. It's just not going to be in. It's not going to be in offering something that AI um, can offer just as well, and for 100 times less, or whatever it is. So here's an example that's outside of accessibility. Let's say you write for SEO purposes. So there's no connection here. It's just a digital trade. You write excellent articles, and they are very helpful for companies when companies are trying to rank in Google. Well, as soon as the buyer can get the same or better article, or near as good from AI, they're going to drop you. And so that's a good way to think about with accessibility services. If somebody can get the same or near the same service for a very, it's going to be even a significant, a very small fraction of what they pay you now, they are going to choose AI for that. And then I write, in the future, AI will eat up virtually all digital accessibility services. Now, on this channel, I talk about, in fact, in just a few days ago, I wrote, now is the time to get into digital accessibility. And I still stay with that because, I mean, I've known AI was, I've known about this for a long, long time. I'm constantly looking at AI, and working with AI and looking at the latest advancements, even if they're not even adjacent to digital accessibility. I'm still paying attention to AI. But right now, we are about to see the market grow like we have never seen before. I think it's just now starting to tip. And if you're in this space, and if you are right in the middle of it, you can do very, very well for, I think, the next few years. And then, of course, you have all of that time to figure out what you're going to do next. But this market is so unsaturated, and at the same time, like, so poised for tremendous growth. So it will not be that difficult, as long as you are in position for people to know that you even exist. It will not be that difficult to capitalize on the coming market growth. So I have some counterpoints here. So some things to consider, right? Especially if you're thinking, well, that's not, like, Kris, you're wrong, or like, that's not what's going to happen, or people will still care, people will still buy our services because they want to buy from other people. So I have some counterpoints. This is where I end the article, and I said, well, let's look at cars, specifically electric cars and self-driving cars. Electric cars were supposed to be just right on the verge of hitting the market for decades. And they've finally been realized. We finally see electric cars, and now we see practical problems and flaws in the execution. So electric cars have just always been that thing that was about to turn the corner, and seemingly they turned the corner. And then, from all I can tell, is that there are still some very practical problems with actually owning and using electric cars. So it's not to say that they aren't in the marketplace and being used and being bought and sold, but it still seems like not quite the electric cars just aren't quite ready to take over. And then, of course, we see some other tangential problems with electric cars, not being the fact that they can function, but just being the fact that, do I even want some of the features that come with an electric car? So other considerations at play. And then there's also on the topic of cars, there are also self-driving cars which still aren't here, which was supposed to happen. Elon Musk saying that self-driving cars were not too far away, and of course many others. I just use him as a notable figure in this, but the self-driving cars were supposed to be coming for a long time, and sometimes it's not even the actual function that is missing. It's just the ability to realize the function. So there could be regulatory difficulties, political difficulties, and so for any number of reasons, including the fact that it's not even, I don't think it's even feasible right now. Self-driving cars haven't been realized, and we probably won't see them for a while. Another example, Bitcoin, right? We've heard so much from crypto enthusiasts about how Bitcoin was going to take over, and we have seen the price go up, but we haven't seen the adoption. I have not had one client ever, and I accept crypto, by the way. I've not had one client ever asked to pay in Bitcoin, and we don't see this happening in daily commerce, right? When I go to stores, when I go to restaurants, I don't see anybody paying in crypto. I'm not saying that crypto isn't accepted in some places, but it's a novelty. We're using it for the sake of using it, but it's not because that it's become a fabric of commerce. So obviously in some small patches it's being used, but my point is that crypto enthusiasts have been saying for years that Bitcoin was going to be it, or maybe even another cryptocurrency, and it just hasn't happened. We've seen people speculate, we've seen people hoard crypto, but we haven't seen that mainstream adoption. So my point here is that technology can be feasible and on the cusp of being realized, and yet not still happen in real life. So this could also be the case with AI. And so the last thing I write here is this post only reflects what we see as our research and work on integrating the rapidly advancing AI technology into our products, services, and operations. So that's what we're doing. We want to be as closely aligned with AI as possible, but we also don't want to, we don't want to put any products, AI products out that aren't going to be effective, and that are going to mislead in any way anybody about what their capabilities are, and just making sure that the AI is actually efficient and effective. And of course, everyone knows that if you're using AI, so for example, like if you're using AI to help you with fixes, that AI might make a mistake. But the point is that we want to make sure that we're not rolling out. Remember when I talked about the beta agentic AI? It's good to be early, but you also don't want to be early to the point where you're putting out products that don't really help anybody, and it's more just for like, hey, we were able to put together a really nice demo, but when it comes to you actually using this, it's not going to work, and you're going to end up complaining about it. See this sometimes with Shark Tank. You'll have a pitch. The pitch will look amazing, and then you go to Amazon and it's 3.2 stars, and then so it's not actually working out. So that's what we want to make sure, is that if we produce anything, if we make it commercially available, that it actually is working. Of course, we want to get it done as soon as possible. But we want to make sure it actually functions as it's supposed to. But anyways, this is a long post, but many people are concerned about AI taking their jobs, and they will. AI will. AI is already doing it, and we're going to see more of it. There's one other point here that I did not get to, and this is a very, it's actually not even the right analogy. It's a loose analogy, but I do think it will help in understanding this. Where did I write this? I'm scrolling through the article. I'm trying to find where I wrote something. Maybe I can't find it, but I know what it is. Okay, so I don't know. I've scrolled through here a few times, and I know what it is. It's in the AI Outlook. All right, so where I write about hybrid automation, I said here's a very loose analogy of hybrid automation that is off, but it still makes the point. Do you remember when Walmart and Target used to have a human cashier for every checkout lane? Think about when you went to the grocery store or any stores, right? Like they had checkout lanes, and they were each checkout lane was staffed by a cashier. So have you ever noticed now that there are far less human cashiers, right? What we see are more self checkouts. So we see really a grouping of self checkouts altogether with just one person to see them all. And so that is what hybrid automation will be like. Now that's not a one to one there, but that's illustrative of what will happen is that we'll just see less human action, less human participation needed. So more efficiency, right? That's what we're getting to is that um, automation will take care of more of this. Now here it's not truly automation because people are still checking out for themselves, but the point is that humans have been replaced. That's a really good example of it just happening in everyday life, and the transition was slowly, I mean not that slowly, but it was integrated. It wasn't drastic. It was like there were still checkout lanes. I think that might have been in part just so people don't freak out, or maybe people think that people just prefer to go through a cashier, and so that option was still available. But notice how we eliminated, like if you think about Walmart, we've probably eliminated 7 potential cashiers, and we have one person now who is there for review and to make people feel like someone's watching them, but those people were replaced. And that's already happening. And you can probably already think of examples where people have been replaced. Not someone was fired just because they were fired, but like people, there's AI is creating so much efficiency that for certain roles, just people aren't needed for those roles anymore because AI can already do them just as good, if not better, than the humans could. So that is what will happen. To the extent it happens, we shall see. But this is the AI outlook. So I'll include a link to this in the description for this video.